Let's dive into this crazy story about Max, the guy with a face that's lethal. So, Max is born in the hospital, and the doctor is like, "Whoa, this baby's face is so pretty." But as soon as they lay eyes on this little cutie, they drop dead like flies. Talk about a deadly charm. They move to a town far away from civilization, where they can protect Max and keep his face under wraps. It's like they're hiding a secret superhero, but instead of fighting crime, he's causing accidental casualties and covering his face like it's a national treasure. Can you imagine that? Poor Max, stuck behind bandages like a mummy in training. Desperate to help their son live a normal teenage life, Max's parents take him to see a psychologist, but the psychologist thinks Max's condition is all in his head. Well, let's be honest, killing people with your face isn't exactly a common problem. Max decides to prove him wrong and unveils his face, and guess what? The psychologist drops dead. Since taking off bandages and causing people's death isn't exactly a crime, even the police can't do anything about it. I mean, what are they gonna do? Arrest Max for being too darn handsome? It's a tough situation. So what does Max do? He becomes a hermit and locks himself up in his room, practicing embroidery every day. So Max's parents are feeling sorry for the guy, and they just want him to have a social life. One night, Max comes up with a genius plan to destroy his own face. He hands his friend Dan a brick and tells him to hit him with it. I mean, talk about extreme makeovers, right? But Dan's not on board with this plan, so Max gets upset and takes out his frustration on Dan's poor phone. Finally, Dan, in a fit of rage, decides to go along with Max's request. He smashes the brick onto Max's face, and you know what? All he breaks is Max's nose. Max's mom has to rush him to the hospital, where he meets a girl who will change his life. I mean, who knew hospitals were such hotspots for romantic encounters? Maybe it's the smell of disinfectant that gets the hearts racing. Now fast forward to Valentine's Day. Max's friend Dan decides to set him up on a blind date with a girl named Rebecca. It's Max's first ever date, and he's a nervous wreck. I mean, who wouldn't be? But just when things start to get interesting, they bump into Rebecca's ex-boyfriend, Craig. Craig, being the jealous ex, decides to stir up some trouble. He spills a drink on their table and shoves Max's face right into it. Then Craig storms off, leaving a mess behind. And you know what Rebecca does? She leaves too, rejecting poor Max in the process. Ouch. Talk about a rough first date. Well, looks like Max's first date didn't exactly end with fireworks and heart-shaped chocolates. Max, feeling all sad and blue, heads to a bridge. But wait, don't jump yet, Max. Alex just walks by. And guess what? She's the same girl Max saw at the hospital the other day. Talk about a coincidence. She's like, "Hey Max, forget this bridge. You need a higher one if you want to do some serious jumping." Wah, so cheeky. Max gets scared and realizes he doesn't want to die after all. Good decision, Max. Life's too short to be jumping off bridges. Alex sees that Max has given up on the idea of jumping and just walks away. Like, job done, gotta go. But Max, being the smitten kitten he is, decides to follow her. And where does she lead him? To a care facility for the elderly. So, Max finds himself surrounded by a bunch of kind and nice old folks who are more than happy to chat with him, even though he's wrapping some bandages on his face. And wouldn't you know it, after spending some quality time at the care facility with Alex, Max falls head over heels in love with her. So Max, all love-struck and giddy, heads back to the bus station to wait for Alex. Alex, missing her bus, decides to give Max a chance. First date, they end up chilling in a bathtub with candies. Now Max reveals his condition to Alex, saying he kills people with his pretty face. But Alex, she's a brave one. She ain't scared of Max's killer face. In fact, she shares her own secret. Turns out she's got a rare heart disease. Can't get excited or her heart will get bigger. That's why she's wearing more layers than an onion. And she's got a heart rate monitor hidden underneath. They enjoy music, alcohol, and movies together. Sounds like a typical date night. Now Max brings Alex home, and things are getting romantic. Alex slowly takes off his sunglasses, revealing his mysterious eyes, and their innocent eyes meet. Ah, sweet moment. Max's parents don't know about Alex. Late at night, they bring home an exchange student for Max to hang out. They arrive home and interrupt the romantic date. Max's parents are shocked by Alex in front of them, but deep down they're happy for their son. Next day, Alex hurts her finger while hiking. Ouch, Max takes off his face bandage and wraps the wound for her. Romantic gesture, right? They share a kiss, and it adds to the burden on Alex's heart. Oh no, not good for the heart condition. Hospital time, folks, but hey, at least they had a moment, right? Love can be tough. Alex covered up the fact that she has to go to the hospital to Max, and she rejected his invitation by telling him she has to clean up her room. Meanwhile, Yushin, the clumsy exchange student, sets a branch on fire, and Dan burns his hand while trying to put it out. Now, Max and Dan end up in the hospital together for Dan's hand. And who do they bump into? Alex and her mom. But Alex acts all cold in front of her mom, leaving poor Max sad and confused. While all this drama is unfolding, Max's dad decides to share the story of how he wooed Max's mom. He advises that Max should tell Alex how he truly feels about her. So Max gathers his courage and asks Alex out, hoping to fix their relationship. But hold on, they end up at a caring facility, and poor Rosemary is on her deathbed. Alex, being the caring soul she is, wants Max to show his face to Rosemary so she can pass away peacefully. Talk about an unusual wish. Max hesitates, but in the end, he takes off his bandages, and in a matter of seconds, Rosemary bids her final farewell. That's quite a dramatic turn of events, isn't it? After that day, things go downhill for Max and Alex. The guilt of being connected to Rosemary's death weighs heavily on their hearts, and they stop contacting each other. But wait, here comes Dan, the straight shooter, to the rescue. He sends a text message to Alex from Max's phone, helping Max ask her out again. The power of friendship and technology. Who needs cheesy pickup lines when you have friends who do the work for you? When Max finally meets Alex again, he realizes he has caused huge burden on Alex's heart. Her heart is growing bigger, and not in a romantic way, but in a medical sense. The doctor has to keep increasing her medication dose. Ouch, Max blames himself and wonders what he can do to help Alex, and she says she wants to go to the prom with him. They both look forward for it, and when it finally comes, Max takes off his bandages and put on a mask. They walk in the prom, enjoying the wonderful moment with hand in hand, and they were cuddling each other. But before they can fully enjoy the magical evening, Alex suddenly runs away and left Max there. Actually, Alex has a nosebleed, and she didn't want him to see and runs off in a panic. Max is left standing alone at the front door of the ballroom, feeling abandoned and confused. And who shows up? It's Craig, the aggressive guy from the restaurant. Still aggressive and violent towards Max, he grabbed Max's neck and takes off his mask. However, a girl that was in front of Max saw his face, and she died in a sudden. The prom turns into chaos, and poor Max is taken away by the police. After his release from the police station, Max heads straight to the hospital, but here comes the twist. Turns out Alex has been hiding a secret. Those meds she's taking, they're not for her heart, but for stomach cancer. Talk about a plot twist. She's had this illness since she was a little girl. No normal life for her until she meets Max, and she didn't want to burden Max with her condition. Oh, the things we do for love. She looks at him with those eyes, just like the day Rosemary dies. She wants him to end her suffering, just like he did before. She also wants to see his face while she takes her last breath. I mean, that's a weird final request. He rejects her. He can't bear to kill someone he loved using his own face. Heartbroken and in despair, Max starts smacking his face with a brick, thinking his face is cursed. Even his poor cat dies when it sees his face. Yikes, that's some bad luck right there. Max's life seems to be spiraling out of control. But Alex's condition keeps getting worse, and Max can't resist his love for her. So he brings her some embroidery he made, like a romantic arts and crafts project. They lay in bed, facing each other, saying their goodbyes. It's time for Alex to close her eyes, and Max starts taking off the bandages. Ooh, the tension. But right at the last moment, they share a goodbye kiss. And guess what? Alex opens her eyes and finally sees Max's face. The excitement is too much for her poor heart, and she passes away. Well, that's a bittersweet ending. So after the funeral, Max goes back to the bridge where they first met. He's like, goodbye letters, and just dumps them in the river. But the good news is that Max gets acquitted in court. They drop all the charges against him. Woo-hoo, he's free like a bird, flying high in the sky. And guess what? This whole case makes Max famous. People start recognizing him, and they're like, hey Max, can you help my grandma too? It's like he becomes the superhero of helping people's relatives. Move over, Superman. Max is here to save the day. But instead of wearing tights and a cape, he just reveals his face to dying people, so they can die happy and painless. That's some next-level kindness right there. So, what do you think of the movie? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to our channel for more movie recaps. See you next time.